Hey friends, Dan Brzezowski from allaboutminibikes.com, and our mini bike topic today is carburetors. Hey friends, Dan Brzezowski from allaboutminibikes.com, and our All About Mini Bike topic today is carburetors. What to do with them? Do you clean them or don't you clean them? Do you keep them or do you throw them out? Hey, some people just don't know, okay? When I was a kid and I was into mini bikes back in the very early 70s, all the mini bikes had either a Tecumseh motor on it or a Briggs & Stratton, okay? They were different, but they were the same. And if you were out and you're riding, we did all dirt riding at the time, and you got dirt in there, you learned how to take it apart, clean the jet out, clean the bowl out, get it back on, and keep going. There was no throwaway society back then, okay? So when I got back into this with my kids, it was a new awakening for me. So this here, we do off-road riding in the sand, and this here is the carb off of our Motovox mini bike. And all of a sudden it got clogged up, and so I did like I usually did and took it apart and cleaned it up. And I did this 2 times. Now, what I didn't know, but I still like to do things and work on things, is that when I ended up buying a new one because it just got so bad, it only cost me $12 for this thing, okay? That's like... But that's why they're so cheap, because they only cost $12. That's shipping and everything, okay, off eBay. But anyway, I don't like to just use things or throw them away and get a new thing. You know, I'm the type of guy that, you know, you grow up a certain way, you like to fix things or make them better, but at least fix them back up. So I want to talk about the carburetor today. This is off the Motovox mini bike, and I've got another carburetor over here, and this here is off of our cart, our big go-kart over there, the Carbide fun cart, whatever. It's a 2010 model, I think it is. And I'll talk a little bit about this too, and a little bit of the difference. But I'm going to take this apart so that at least you know what makes a carburetor work or why the motor works. The thing I love about mini bikes is different than, let's say, a motorcycle and anything. There's not too many things that can go wrong with it, okay? Because you don't have gears or anything. So if it's not running right, if it's not the spark plug, okay, and it's not the coil, which it shouldn't be the coil, and it's not the spark plugs, it's usually something that's in the gas line or the carburetor itself, okay? And if you do a lot of off-road riding like we do, you're just bound to get dirt and sand. It just happens. So I want to show you how to take this apart and clean it if you so choose to do that. If you clean it and it's really not working right and you've done all you can, then you part with $12 and get a new one. But come on over here, Rick, and we'll take a look at this carburetor, okay? So, hope we got enough light here. All right, so you'll look on the bottom. This is called the bowl, and the bowl is what holds the fuel in there, okay? And so, let's see if I can get this. This right here is where the fuel, on or off on here, you can see it's turned off. If I turn it on, my hose is hooked into here from my gas tank, goes down in, comes in, and there's what's called a jet in there. It's got little holes, and that's what feeds the motor the gasoline that it needs to operate. So you've got 2 little nuts down here on the bottom. Now on this one here, on the old Tecumseh and Briggs & Stratton, you would have, and you could just push it in and it would drain all the gas out for you before you took it off. But these do not have that. So if you weren't able to run the gas out of there, you would just take this off. Well, that's because I probably don't have this one on here very tight since I last did it. So you just take this off, this little bolt here. Let me see if I can get it. It's probably a number 10 or something, I don't know. I'm just using this crescent wrench here. Fumbling around like an old man. All right, let's go. Yeah, it wants to pull my whole carb off. So you know what I'm going to do? I'm just not going to jerk with it right now because it's just old carb. I don't care. It still works though. So what I want to do, if I take this bowl off, so you would take this off and that would let any gasoline that's in the bowl come out. But I've probably never taken it off. That's why it's not there. So if I want to get this bowl off, this screw here holds it on. Once I pull it off, you gotta be careful. You take the bottom. So in here's the bowl. And you can see right here, that's what I was telling you. If you pull that off, there's any gas in the bowl that would come out. So I've got that off. And this right here is the float. See that? So in this bowl, it fills up with gas and it holds the float. And every time it starts going down, the jet will show you is up inside there, and it just lets fuel keep coming in there. So I'm going to pull the float off. This little here, this isn't locked in or anything. This little pin here slides all the way. Just pull it all the way out. Try to keep everything in one spot so you don't lose it. A little pin like that, super duper easy to lose. And then that happens, the float comes off. Same thing. See this little pin right here? Okay, so now in here you can take a look, and your jet is down in there, and that's a holding screw. All right, so what you need to do is you need to get that holding screw out of there. So a standard head screwdriver will get it. It's got to be small enough to get down in there. Everything is always to get it out. Got to try to grip it there. I feel it now, counterclockwise. So I keep twisting it here now till I can feel it just kind of keep bumping. Then I know I've gone through all the threads, and I have. Let's see if it comes out here. Okay, it's right there. But sometimes they don't want to pop all, they don't want to drop out. So you just take a pair of needle nose. Get it in there. And you pull it out. All that is a holding screw. That's just the holding screw. And that's holding inside here is the jet. And that's where the fuel's coming out. Now that jet, we're going to see what happens. I haven't had this apart for a while. But you kind of got to knock on it to get it out. Yep, there it is. Okay, so what you see here are these little holes in here, and that's where the fuel is coming out of. Now the hardest thing is that if I have a bigger carburetor like this carburetor over here, the jets are much larger in there, and I can take a little piece of wire. Let's see, I usually have one over here. Now it's here somewhere, but not right here. And I can stick it in. But these holes on this jet are so small that what you take is carb cleaner and you squirt it all over it. Let me go get the carb cleaner and we'll check that out. Okay, so I got the carb cleaner here. That's choke cleaner, jet spray. You get it? And what you're going to want to do in the case of this one, now remember I said also keep everything together as much as you can, something. If not in the bowl itself, have a little dish or something. I have that also. But what I do with this here is I want to take it and I want to spray it up really, really good. You just get it in there. You can shoot it right down the middle too if you want. Now, I don't have my tube on here, and I'm not going to go looking for it in a little plastic tube that goes, but you could always just get it right down in there. And you want to get that clean, because what happens is, look at how little those holes are. You get dirt in there, there's nothing going into there's nothing getting in the carb. The other thing you do, and hopefully you have the tube, is here you can see, that right there is where the rubber tube goes on from the gas tank. So I'm going to leave this on. So if I shut it off, that means nothing will go through. But if I put it in the on, I can take my carb cleaner, get it right down the hole, and you can see it dripping out. So it's cleaning out everything. So I want to get it really nice and clean. And so get the carb cleaner, choke the carb cleaner, but whatever you do, don't use this stuff around an open flame or anything, because it will blow up on you. So again, it's a little stinky. Always have something. I usually wear rubber gloves. I do. I usually gloves. I'm not doing it right now. I don't know why, but I usually wear gloves. And this stuff will dry your hands out. So once you get that done, you want to take and put it back in there. Now, important thing to remember here is you can see there's a little flange on the bottom here. A little flange. That's on the bottom, not in the top. So I want to make sure that I put it back in like that. and it falls right back into place. Once I do that, I'm going to lay everything back out over here because I still have to talk a little bit about that. Once I do that, I take this little set screw that we had. That's very simple to remember which end goes in because, of course, you need the notched end so you can screw it back in. I drop it in there. I screw it in, but I don't overly tighten it. I just tighten it enough. Don't squeeze all the way in or you're possible that you'll wreck that jet. Next thing you want to do is you want to take your bowl and your float, and you want to take carb cleaner. I'm not going to do it right now. I'll do a little bit. Just shoot it on it. I almost shoot it on myself there, eh? Just shoot it on there. You can do more on there and just take it and clean that out real good. Make sure you don't have any sediment. Because as you can see, as small as those jets are, the holes in that jet, it's too easy to get it clogged. So just clean everything off real good. Once you do that, take your little pin back over here. Right into here. Take that little pin. Let's see, we get it straightened up as you can see there. Little pin goes right. Just got to get it just right. There we go. You can see in that right there is just your float. It's moving very easily, and that's what you want. So you can take this whole, you can take your whole carb, and you really should open the choke up and just spray. I'm not going to do it now, but just take in here and just spray it all in there. Let it circulate and come all out. Just clean everything up because you don't know, but dirt and grime does get stuck in there. Let's put this back on. This here's your holding screw. Take it back on. Again, I'm just using a crescent wrench. Some people call it a monkey wrench. Just tighten it up like that, and then you'll be good to go. Now, again, and even if you want to buy another one and put it on, just so you can have one and take it apart and learn about the carb, that's a good thing. So these carbs are really, 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 really touchy because of the fact that those jets are so small. But but they can be cleaned and it can be done. But that's why you always want to keep your air filters clean as could be. And again, we do mostly off-road riding. Not so much with the Motovox because that doesn't have a lot of guts in it, but we still would take it out there. If we need an extra mini bike, we take it out there. But I want to show you, so this here carb, which you can see is a lot larger. I want to show you the difference in this one. See if I've got, let's see if I got the right screw for this. Screwdriver. That one's not the right one. Let me find one. I'll come right back.
Go ahead.
Is it going? Okay. All right. So it's important that you get the right screwdriver because if you don't get the right one, you'll strip the heads out of here, and then you're really looking around for going to the hardware store for new heads. But this is the same thing. So in here, this right here is the bowl that's holding all the gasoline, right? This one here, if I took this screw off, all the gas would come out of it if I wanted to do that to it. But all I do is I take these 4 screws off the bottom. It's funny because I'm reading about Henry Ford way back in the late 1800s. There were no carburetors, no ignitions, no anything. They literally had to have everything made. The beginning of the auto industry is just amazing when you realize that there were no parts. Everything had to be made. And making it was, you didn't know if you made it right until you made it. But it's amazing. A good book on Henry Ford it was a business one, so-called business, but it talked about how the automobile age came about and replaced the horse and buggy. And it's great to know that history. You realize how easy you have it made these days. So now I'll pull this straight off. So that's the same thing. That's the bowl right there. Here's our float right here. Now this one here has different jets, but you can see how large they are compared to the other. Now, the thing about this one is it's so much easier to work with. Now, take a look at this jet. You can see the holes, although they still look very, very small, and they are much bigger than what was on the Motovox carb. But I do the same thing with this. Now, this is what happened. And I've got to work on the, I've still got to do work on my ramjet, the carb. So what happened to me was that both this carb, I got this from Go Power Sports. I like their stuff. You don't want to overly tighten it there. It just stopped. What happened was both this one, literally a month after I put it on, because the other one was shot. The other carb was the original from the cart. I put this one on, and literally a month later, it was giving me problems. And what I did was I went online to eBay and I picked up another one because it was only $25 or something, right? But this one I got at Go Power Sport, and what they do is they rejet this. And so this is a much better carb because the other one, it doesn't have the pickup in that this does. But the point of it is like within a month, because both this motor would not stay running on the go-kart, and neither did the ramjet. And I put one and one together and figured that I had that gas can outside, so there must have been sediment or stuff dropping into the nozzle. I was filling both the vehicles with it, and then because of that, both vehicles went bad. Both vehicles. So this carb here I've already cleaned up before. I'm just showing you right now. Got to make sure I get that gasket on there just right. So that's right there, because you don't want it to be, I could actually, had I really wanted to, take the gasket and put it in here where it should be. And then that way, when I put it on, I know it's not crimped in somewhere where it shouldn't be. There, see? Now take it, put it back on here, and put my screws back in. Just kind of get them started. Never go and tighten one up all the way, and then go and do another one and tighten it up all the way, just like you wouldn't do that on your car on your lug nuts. Just get them all started. Now the reason I haven't put this one back on is because on the carts, because it's just been really cold. I'm here in the garage, and it's just really miserable, and it's a little tough to get to on that. It just takes time to get the carb off and back on. And so, but this one is the one I'm going to put back on. And so, again, all of them are the same. They're a little different, but meaning that they all serve the same purpose, and that's to get the gasoline in their mixture into the engine, into the spark plug for your internal combustion, which then makes your mini bike or go-kart or whatever you have go, okay? So that's just the basics of it. If you have a Motovox or something like that, don't throw away an old one if you get a new one. Play around with it. Take it apart. Know what the heck you've got going on out there, because you can also save a lot of money in the long run, okay? We've got some more repair issues coming up on mini bikes, because it's all about mini bikes. So stay tuned. Please subscribe. Tell your friends about our channel. And continue watching, because I'm going to run some nice old ads that used to run in the magazines when I was a kid. Mini Bike Guide magazine and so on and so forth. So enjoy them. Thanks for watching. Tell your friends. And come back and see us for more. Have a great day and keep on mini biking.